Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be jumping into a 2v2 on Black Forest. And as you can see here, we have the Abbasid in the red pieces, the Chinese in the blue pieces, the opponents on the other side of the map, the Holy Roman Empire in the green pieces, and the English in the yellow pieces. This game will be the first in a long series of replays where I'm going to be walking through my first-person perspective in 4 times speed, going through a high-level analysis of my thought process and my strategy as the game unfolds. And as you can see here on the map, Black Forest is a map full of small choke points, alleyways, nooks and crannies, which lends itself to a lot of guerrilla warfare, a lot of defensive advantage, and our opponents are going to abuse that and take advantage of that, as you'll see here. This yellow player is bringing out scouts. Green player as well, sending out a villager. As you can see here, the English scouts are primarily to nullify any of my villagers from moving around the map. So he's zoning with these scouts and trying to control my pace in the game, trying to keep me back. Quickly realizing this, I decided to put up my own wall on both sides and engage his scout. So this first wall goes down. I come over here to build a wall farther out, and he quickly sneaks through. So I was able to get this wall down in time, but not stop this villager from putting down a wall. So at this point in the game, I know for sure that he's looking to rush me early. That's my hint and really my intuition. And as you can see, he is amassing bowmen and pikemen. Very important for a player, especially an English player, to have pikemen, because bowmen do no damage against walls. So the pikeman's going to help start burning this wall down. And of course, the English bowman gives a pretty large advantage in the early game. So having this wall is a big deterrent. It's buying me a lot of time and signaling to me that I need units. So I quickly put down my own walls and towers for defense. At this point in the game, I wasn't sure if I was going to be double teamed or not, so taking this precautionary method. These towers also give you a large field of vision beyond the wall. And I left this wall up, so this would buy me more time. My teammate would either have to build a gate or even knock it down in order to get through. So this actually works in my favor, and I'm using this as a second wall. Over here I'm building a second wall just to double up on defense, and I'm investing hard on macro, as you can see, investing in multiple buildings for infrastructure, military production, and I'm acquiring stone for Castle Age. So my hunch here is that this game is not going to be too long, and my goal is to get quickly to the Castle Age and stay there. I used the Castle Age as a timing point in the game, where at that point I would begin being a lot more aggressive. And my opponent breaks through the wall, sees my defense, and quickly backs off. Looks like he's going to work his way to my teammate, who is being harassed by the Roman player, actually. And I've sent some troops down here through the center to help stave off this push by the green player. And of course, as you can see, he's built infrastructure, but 2 to 1, we were able to push him out. And that's the nice thing about having these walls and these defenses here, this castle, just in case, is you have the freedom to allocate troops to your teammate. And after we stopped that, my teammate put this stone wall down, and I quickly began to send a small force of archers to the bottom of the map and harass this green player. The yellow player's army went from attacking me in the top right to now consolidating with his teammate in the green. And now they're building up a second position here to attempt a siege again on this stone wall. As you can see, my archers have come down. I'm harassing, assuming that most of green's production and military is in the top. This is just a good way to harass it. taking out 4 or 5 villagers at a time, forcing him to be stressed, and peeling off his army from the front line. Attempting this breakthrough here actually failed. And so they've defended this position securely. My archers are going to back off. And now I'm deciding to push in the north. So my thought process here is simply, if they're going to start consolidating in this position once again for a second siege on my teammate should double down on defense, hold them, while I attack the English player. And the reason for this attack is that our opponents in the yellow and green are consolidating on this corner of the map, the leftmost corner of the map, and they're sieging my opponent's base. My goal was to attack the bottom right of the map, which is the farthest point away from this consolidation of infrastructure and production, and force them back. We have two options really as the defensive players here. We can either engage them head on and play into their strategy, or we can engage in guerrilla warfare and force these units back, and then attack at a different time in a more advantageous angle. So you can see here, pressuring the English player on the opposite side of the map, moving in and relatively undefended, uncontested, as I expected. I'm going to push in here, and look what this does. This forces the yellow player off the front line. This siege is temporarily paused by our opponents, and he has to now deal with my attack. And this is the goal, right? It was never really to win the game here. It was really to harass, hurt his economy, knock out this dock, and then buy time for my teammate and I. In the meantime, what we're doing is we're producing units to ultimately break this siege. So, as you can see, the yellow player just went to defend me, and he's assuming another attack, right, in this position. So we're not going to attack this position. I decided now to lift the siege on the bottom right of the map and attack him on this corner of the map where the green player is left alone, and now we can 2v1, lift the siege, and gain the advantage that we always wanted initially, which was this position. Right, so our opponent is scrambling, we're on top of their production, knocking out their military buildings, and we've essentially pushed them out of the map. The English player is now coming up to reinforce, but it's too late really. He doesn't have enough. They've lost this key point and are now going to even lose this group of archers here. So as you can see, my goal is to finish this up and then control this choke point. So the green player has backed off at this point. Our opponents in the green and yellow are for the first time in a defensive posture. I'm going to go ahead and see what I can do. I was expecting to be able to break through this wall, but being that it's stone, being that my opponent was able to defend with crossbows, I decided to back off. Yellow is rallying troops to the front line for green, and he's continuing to build up defenses, wall off this eastern side of the map. My goal from this point is to create a defensive position here, control this choke point in this alleyway, and give my teammate enough time to build up the necessary siege that we need, while I begin amassing a secondary force in the top of the map to put pressure on this right side once again. And so our teammates, our opponents rather, are expecting an attack here, right, once again. And so I'm going to attack in the opposite manner and force their armies to be split. And it's important to force their armies into a split position, in my opinion, because we have the advantage, we have more population, we have more military strength, and therefore we want to divide and conquer. Their advantages together, our advantages really are to divide and make them fight us in a more disadvantageous position. So I'm going to go ahead and push this at the same time we're pushing green, who just engaged against these nested bees and was wiped out. I missed that in the replay. But that's going to end the game. I hope you enjoyed that and possibly learned something along the way.